Come, we're doing it again. Rodge here, aka the Wisco Horn Dog, and I'm back again for another Saga Thursday, my friends. Your regular source for Saga, the miniatures game goodness. We are picking right up where we left off for the last one. This is part 2 of our Rus Princes battleboard review. Okay, next one down. Looks like another rare maybe, although it'll take an uncommon as well. Why don't you go into hardened?
Yes, this one's kind of interesting. Until the start of your next turn, each time you discard a horsey or a helmet from the combat pool, the unit benefiting from that combat pool immediately gains 1 attack and 1 defense dice, 2 attack and 2 defense dice if a helmet was discarded for this ability.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, basically what this means is, in addition to getting your combat pool one or two attack or defense dice, you get an additional attack and defense dice, or 2 attack dice and 2 defense dice.
Interesting. That's juicy. Yeah, so if you gain a helmet, a rare, you're going to pop it on this hardened, and then you can load up the combat pool with just your regular schmuck. Okay.
With horses, it doesn't work for the axes.
Oh, yeah. A horse or a... Okay. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So it is kind of like, it's a 2 dice investment, but potentially 3 or 4. And 1, 2. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Do you stack this baby up, or... Can you just use 1 dice on harden and 1 dice in the combat pool? Do you feel you're getting enough bang for your buck there? Or do you have to really plan having 2 or 3 in the combat pool to really get a use out of this?
Yeah, I think you really gotta, this is an almost all or nothing sort of thing. But this is that turn where you're like, I'm gonna roll a bunch of axes and I'm gonna shoot you off the board, and you get a helmet and like 5 horses. You're like, well... So I'm not going to do that. But then you're like, oh, well, I'll put the helmet in hardened and I'll shoot you off the board. Because you get like 12 extra attack dice.
That's badass. Yeah, I mean, if you just got a helmet, which you put on hardened, and then 2 horses, that'd be 4 attack and 4 defense dice.
Well,
if I'm reading...
additionally, so that'd be 6 attack and 6 defense dice total.
Oh, yeah. In addition to the combat pool? Holy man. Wow, that's awesome. That's that's some Scots bullshit right there, man.
Right. All the dice.
Anytime you get attack and defensive dice in equal quantities, you cannot be unsatisfied with the result. Badass.
Yeah, so this is kind of like that big alpha strike hit where you have to hit something you really want to survive to and get that one big Jum's Viking 12 Hearthguard piece out of the way. Yeah,
I mean, sometimes you got to throw in there and go just basically into the teeth when they have a couple abilities on their board, and you're like, well, we got to make this happen and help you get the best of it at least. So is there a way to combine this with the defensive abilities we talked about before, or not really?
A little bit. You can combine it with Grey Wolves, but you're probably already putting that horse somewhere else. Power of Steel wouldn't work because you wouldn't be able to gain any additional attack dice with it. So this one's kind of just on its own. I mean, Winds of Despair you could use it with, but at that point, if you've rolled that many axes, you're probably not going to anyways.
Yeah, that's going to be 1 activation to pull this all together. So, okay. Yeah, not a bad one.
Well, and what this does is this gives you just a little taste of like Vikings. So the opponent knows that you have a movement long unit that could potentially throw out like 30 attacks if you chose to do so. So they're going to be a little bit skittish about just, moving up to the midfield.
Interesting. Yeah, basically you can totally wreck 1 unit with basically little impunity to yourself. Not too shabby. Okay. Well, I'm looking down here at the long dark, my friend. I'm seeing two rares, 2 helmets. Must be pretty good. It's in the orders phase. May only be used if you did not use any orders saga ability during this orders phase. So quickly, that'd be the activation pool. Hardened. You couldn't combine this with. I don't know what this does yet, but
that's it.
That's it. Okay. Discard all your saga dice. Boom. Nice.
Yep.
Until the end of your turn, your Rus units may be activated any number of times for free. 1. Generate 2 extra attack dice in melee, but may not rest. At the end of the turn, each of your unit takes 1 fatigue.
It's not the best.
Any number of times for free. Generate 2. Okay, so you will be activating your units, but for the second and multiple ones, you will be generating fatigue, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so it's not unlimited, but obviously you can activate Hearthguard units more times before they're exhausted. You can't rest. Yeah, that seems pretty awesome. That is a lot better than all the other activate your whole army orders things, and the other war bands I've taken a look at. Seems like you could do a ton with this, but it does require the double rare. So, lay it on us. How does this work out for you?
It works out okay. It's very situational.
Okay.
The best, I don't know if it's necessarily the best, but it could affect your opponent choosing to take first turn or not. Because if you get turn 6 and you guys have stood off of each other, you activate this on your 6th turn, and you just do all of the things and hit them really hard where it hurts. Mm-hmm. I don't know. For 2 rare, I've never used it.
Whoa! Not feeling it, huh?
I
guess it does leave you exposed at the end of it with the fatigue on everybody. Is that what's turning you off to this?
Well, everybody's exhausted because you still get, you still generate fatigue with all of your movements. So
yeah, so if everybody did a double move without anything else, everybody would have 2 fatigue on them at the end of this, if I'm reading everything correctly. So 2 extra attack dice, can't rest. Yeah, never used it.
No, the only thing I'd see is if you were just like ramming your Druzhina unit into the opponent's force over and over again, forcing them to either spend your fatigue or get hit in the face over and over again.
That's what I would do. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I don't have...
Well, 2 rares, there's so much more that you could do, I think.
Tactics. Adam, come on. Let's just ram them in. Ram them in! This is what we're going to do.
Make him take the long dark.
The long dark. Oh, so much potential. Discard all your saga dice. So when it says discard all your saga dice, do you put everything on the board? So when you use this, you have no saga dice to discard? Or you haven't even used it enough to answer that rules query?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but that would be good, I suppose, because then you could still drop them down. Yeah, it just says...
We're gonna
it doesn't just say discard all the dice on your board. It says discard all your saga dice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the clarification, when used, you must discard all saga dice from your battle board. Okay. So that makes it less interesting because you're not going to be able to juice anything up. So it really is almost more of a movement, somewhat of a attack stuff with the extra attack dice, but no tricks at this point.
Yeah, if the game is pretty well decided and you roll 2 rares up on that last turn, you're like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Or if you really need to get somewhere or something, but...
Okay. So much potential. Wasted, Adam.
Yeah.
Okay. Bodyguard, last one. How come they didn't put the big double one in the last spot? What's going on with this board?
It's the same people who decided that we were going to shoe people.
Shoeing. And my Harden says orders. I don't know.
Ordres.
I don't know if that's a misprint or the French spelling of orders. But anyways, Yeah, why don't you hit us with that bodyguard? Maybe this is
Yeah.
the big awesome ability.
It's pretty good. During this melee, each time a friendly figure should be eliminated as part of the use of your Warlord's Resilience special rule, roll a d6. If you rolled less than the armor of the eliminated figure, it is not eliminated, and the hit on your Warlord is canceled.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this one's neat. It does really push you to move your Hearthguard up next to an enemy unit, swing in with your Warlord. Your Warlord maybe gets Grey Wolves, so he's getting 9 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you did Hardened and you give him a bunch of attacks and defense dice and stuff like that. And every time he gets hit on a 4 or less, the hit's gone, even, if they hit him that second or third time. So
that's
pretty badass.
That is pretty badass. That's pretty awesome. Definitely plays into the overall warband construction. It favors Hearthguard over everything else from what we've seen. And one of the downfalls for Hearthguard for me is it gets really nasty when they have to start absorbing hits for the Warlord. So, this definitely is something nice to keep in your back pocket for uncommon there. It's another one of those abilities, which you mentioned 3 or 4, which might just change their plans completely, just based off that. That's pretty good, but yeah, just for one single melee. So if they're really determined, they can go in multiple times. But yeah, that's juicy. I like that.
What it does is you can also combine it with the Power of Steel. So. And even Winds of Despair. So you have your Warlord go in on his own. He, the opponent only gets 5 attack dice back. You shrug one off. Maybe you shrug a second or third one off with Bodyguard, and then he has to run away.
And then boosh. See ya.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be a badass. That's cool. It looks fun. I like anything which favors an aggressive Warlord. I'm kind of a nincompoop, and too risky with him, but anything I can keep in my back pocket, basically after you do some stuff and they're kind of exposed. I like that a lot. So, badass. So, why don't we talk about the warband construction then? Is there any reason for warriors or levy? I guess what do you usually end up doing?
Yeah, so the Malia Druzhina it's the 2 points for the Hearthguard to get 8 of them, and then it's 1 point to upgrade them. So that's half your warband right there in 8 models.
Those are the elite fellows we mentioned.
They got those armor 5 against everything. They get a free activation on their own. They re-roll the first failed hit against them every turn, so they're pretty top notch.
Absolutely.
I always give them a banner because they're going to be activating a ton.
Okay,
so
that's a good point.
If the enemy is going to be standing off from you, you shoot, do parting blow, and then rest, and you're back to healthy, and you've shot them like 26 times or something crazy like that.
Slung a lot of dice. Interesting.
Yeah. So it convinces them to come out of their hidey holes.
Mm-hmm. So that's half your 6-point warband. So what does the other 3 typically consist of?
So from here you can go a couple of different directions. One is something that's been bandied about a little bit is like the smallest warband possible. So you have this unit of 8, and then you take the Black Hoods for a point, and then you upgrade them for a point. So that's 2 points, and that's another 8 models for 2 points. And then you throw in like a warrior priest.
Wow, yeah.
And you've got 18 models for six points.
Oh, there's some nasty 18 models.
Tough as nails.
Okay, have you done that? Have you?
No, I think the Black Hoods are a bit of a trap. Because for 2 points you're getting 8 warriors. It's not the best. I mean, and if the enemy can catch them, then they're caught. But
okay. Well, let's go over the Black Hoods again. We went over the Druzhina, but I don't think we discussed the Black Woods too much. I mean, they're basically kind of like some steppe tribe allies. Is that kind of what they are?
Yeah, so steppe tribes, they count as levies, steppe tribes normally do. What this does is it upgrades them to warriors.
Okay.
So they're warriors, so they generate a saga dice, they generate an attack die per model in melee. But the big, and they have an armor brought up to 4, reduced to 3 against shooting, just like any mounted unit. But the big thing is they count as Druzhina for the use of these purple crosses. Mm-hmm. So they can use those. So that's why you're paying the point for them.
Okay. But you're not a big fan of them.
No, paying a point to be able to use 3 battleboard abilities, it's okay, but they're still warriors.
Yeah, I mean, you could have 8 more bodies, for a point, or 4 more Hearthguard, depending what you want to run. So, okay, so what do you usually sort of default to for 6 points?
So I would do another 8 Hearthguard. So you have the Mala Druzhina, and then you have another 8 Hearthguard, and then you take an 8-pack of Foot Warriors. And that's for running into the rough ground, clearing out a building.
Yeah, you gotta flush them out.
Yep. Go stand on that rock over there. Look menacing.
Okay, that makes sense. Just from a terrain perspective, even though some of the best abilities they won't be able to utilize. So cool. So how do your battles end up then? I'm trying to picture it. So you have the Druzhina shoot, but not everybody shoots. You have some good defensive abilities, but you really have to load up Harden to make it a full-on attack. You just kind of wear them down, kind of, just from all different angles, or how does that play out typically for you?
Generally speaking, you have 1 or 2  8-man mounted Hearthguards, and you just hit them with shooting, and then charge in and just go to town on them.
Okay.
So it's not really finesse. You just hit them hard.
Hit them hard, and then when they come after you, they ain't going to be able to do much, depending what defensive abilities you left up. So, okay.
So the biggest thing for these guys is that you're activating 1 or 2 units a ton. So the banners are a must, I think, in these units. So that's kind of the takeaway for these guys. Is I field them at my first tournaments, and I've immediately exhausted them like turn 1. And I'll charge, and I'll charge you in the woods, and it was all over.
I could see that, because you probably your first turn, you're like, I'm just gonna activate these guys. I'm like, that's pretty good. I'm just gonna activate them again, and again,
it feels good,
and again. Yeah.
So
it's always tough against those shooting units, because when they're coming at you, you want to remove the fatigue to make you harder to hit, but then they're just going to keep going at you with like no penalty. I mean, it's still a free shot. So it's just tough to leave that on there. But even with the banners, like you mentioned, you still have to use those activations at least.
And with these guys, it'll be after the 3rd shooting when they can actually even spend your fatigue. So you have 1 that generates none, you do Parting Blow, which generates none, and you do another shooting, which generates it at the end. And then you rest, and that's it.
Good deal. So if you were playing against the Rus Princes, where have your worst defeats come from, would you say? Or what mistakes are there to exploit?
Yeah, if you're able to lock down 1 unit somehow, so if you're able to lock down those Druzhina, either through defensive abilities, not letting them get through, piling fatigue on them with Nafatoon or something like that, that's going to be really good. The other option is to just kill everything else.
Okay.
So starve them out.
Good deal. So you mentioned that one warband configuration with the warrior priests, just for the model count funsies. Have you used any of the different priests with these guys, or do you think any of them will work better? I mean,
I've used the warrior priest, and
post-fac world we're living in.
Yeah, no, the warrior priest I think is a good value in general. He benefits from a lot of the cross abilities on the board, so that's really good. He's a better fighter than your warlord, so when you send him in on his own, he's that much better.
Why is he better?
Because if you spend the dice on him for his ability, he gets 6 attack dice instead of 5.
Yeah, that's true.
And he sheds that fatigue at the beginning of the turn, and he gets an order we obey.
Yeah.
So really,
there's that bodyguard ability too. So there is like a specific warlord ability, which I'd like to see if I'm using a warrior priest, that there's something that he can do. So juicy. Yeah, for the other ones, it doesn't seem like for the enlightened, like you particularly need rares. Hardly at all. Maybe that power of steel. Is that one where you hoard your rares? Where do you typically power of steel mostly? Is that what I'm guessing at?
Yeah, what's really great about this battle board is it doesn't really need anything. Like on any given turn, you're like, sure, I'll take that. And you put it on there. Well, like I was playing with Flando, and he had the Anglo-Danes, and he needs those 2 rares for his big fatigue
magic. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure, take it. I don't care. I'll just use all these axes because that's what I like.
Okay, badass.
But if you use the Druzhina, the warrior priest, and your warlord, that's 3 free activations without even having to spend a saga dice. So
gross.
You really don't need saga dice for very much in this board. That's critical. You can still move around without any saga dice.
That's badass. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you? This looks like a pretty good board to me. Are these guys pretty competitive overall? Would you say? Is there any scenario issues you might run into that would prevent these guys from being like a top tier, top notch type of faction?
Yeah, they they suffer going into difficult ground. So on sacred ground scenarios, you're not going to get that one piece that the opponent throws down that's a woods. They do suffer against armies that can stop that one unit. So like I said, like pagan, they can freeze you. It's like, nope.
Pagan Rus.
Or the Spanish, or anybody who can kind of cancel that one unit. Yeah. So those are kind of the big ones that can kind of shut you down. And it's an all eggs in one basket sort of army. So you'll either hit them hard and smash them off the field, or they'll catch you out, and that'll be that.
True, that is true. Yeah, and I think in the long game, those kind of lists, at least for me, never really seem to pan out. The more all-comers, I think, typically do better. So this one's a little unbalanced towards big victories, and then when it doesn't go your way, kind of some big losses, sounds like. Okay.
Yeah, if people have an answer for your cavalry, then that's it.
Then that's it. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, badass. Thanks for coming on here doing this. This was super informative.
Thanks for having me on.
I'm going to have to show this one to Barnaby, because I think he still has these Rus Princes in his back pocket. Although I think he was switching to Vikings because it was less taxing on his brain muscles.
Well, and the one other thing that I was thinking about while I still remember it is if you do take the Black Hoods and the Druzhina, so the Black Hoods have that ability with Power of Steel where they can blank the opponent. So if you're going up against a really melee-centric army, you can bubble wrap them around your Druzhina so that they're the ones that get charged to blank the opponent. But if you're facing a big shooty army, then you bubble wrap the Druzhina around the Black Hoods and pop that +2 against shooting you have, so that you're invulnerable to shooting. So it's kind of like you're wrapping them around, kind of doing that sort of thing.
Got a little answer, potentially, for anything coming your way when you have, particularly with those particular units. So, okay. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks again for coming on. We'll have you on again for sure. Talking about some other stuff. How did your Saga Grand Melee experience go? Maybe real quick.
It was great. 6 great opponents. I brought the Moors with Napatoons, so 40 warriors, a warrior priest, and 4 flamethrowers.
Yeah, it's a lot of bodies.
and I faced a lot of really tough opponents. My general idea was I'm just this big amorphous blob that even if you take big chunks out of, it doesn't really affect me. So it worked out pretty well. I took 4th overall. So
awesome! Congrats, dude.
Thanks.
Badass. So, okay. See? He knows what he's talking about, everybody. I don't, but that's why I have people on here to help me
I got lucky, too.
Well, that is my main strategy as well. So, okay, cool. Well, we will chat with you again sometime. Later, buddy.
Yeah.
See ya. Wow, that was amazing. Big thanks to Adam for helping me out on that. He is definitely fountain of information, that guy, and we will have him back again, I am sure, to chat about some other Saga goodies. If you have any comments or concerns about what we chatted about, hit me up on Twitter at WiscoHorndog or post below on WiscoHorndog@gmail.com. Any one of those will see your message delivered, my friends. But yeah, like, favorite this shit, share it with a buddy. We want to spread that Saga word as far and as wide as we can. And just keep on hobby horn dogging, my pals. I'll catch you next time. Saga!